We are joined by Jimmie Johnson, who is our 5-time and reigning series champion, the number 48 Lowe's Jimmie Johnson Foundation Chevrolet. And Jimmie has brought some props with him, and it is a special anniversary for your foundation.
Yes, once again, we have the Helmet of Hope that's taking place, and just to touch on the fact that we're in the Jimmie Johnson Foundation car this weekend. Very excited about this race, and very thankful to everyone that's participated and helped support the foundation. Raised over $650,000 this week in the San Diego area through our dinner and our golf tournament. And then we also have the Helmet of Hope, and at this time we'll draw some more names, figure out who else goes on the helmet. Fan number 7. The Ronald McDonald House of Charlotte, nominated by France Williams of Charlotte, North Carolina. For 25 years, he's worked with children with cancer and knows firsthand how good the Ronald McDonald House is and what it does for the children and their families. The media is L's for Autism, nominated by Jay Hart, founded by golf pro Ernie Els. L's for Autism funds research aimed at finding a cure for autism. So thank you very much for everybody that's participated, and if you haven't put in your charity of choice and nominated them, JimmieJohnsonFoundation.org is where you do so. And thanks to everybody.
Sounds good. Rolling into the media portion of it, you arrive here as the defending champion.
Yeah, we had a great race here last year. Qualified well, led a lot of laps, and had a little bit of fortune come our way with Marcos's mistake over there going up turn 1 up the hill. But look forward to another great race. We want to expand on what we did here last year. I feel that I'm a better road course racer, and we know a little bit more about the setup we want under the car, and excited about the race.
Here we go. Raise your hand, state your name and affiliation. Let's start with Tom.
Hi, Jimmy. Tom Jensen, Speed.com. Where's your team at relative to where it's been at same point this year? Do you feel good about the way things are going? What do you think the big challenges are ahead?
Yeah, I feel good about things. We had a few more opportunities to win at the start of the year. We did win at Talladega. We've been working through some new stuff on the 1.5 and 2-mile tracks and getting closer. Last weekend, with the spin and the issue we had there and going down 2 laps, not being able to get it back, I feel that we would have maybe made up a point or two on Carl. I think we had a really good car, and we'd have a different tone in the media center today if I didn't spin out and lose some points there. But we're doing well. I see a lot of progress with the over-the-wall group of guys on the team, and I feel that we're now seeing some consistency in our cars on the big tracks, and adjustments are making sense, and we're going down the road and getting stronger. So I wouldn't say this is our worst year to this point. I still think that probably 2008 was our toughest opening half of a season that we've had to date. But we know we need to be better, and we want to be better, and we're working hard to get there.
Just a quick follow-up. Was last week a simple spin? Nothing broke on the car and didn't move the tire?
Yeah, nothing broke. I think it was an aero situation that I was in traffic, and had someone close to the bumper. And the way the car rotated around, how fast it rotated around, I thought there was contact. But the sway bar was ground off, so it was from the flat tires and why the sway bar arm was off. It wasn't like it had broken or anything. Yeah.
David?
David Caravella, NASCAR.com. I think you mentioned Tuesday that you haven't tested personally coming into this race. Can you expand a little bit more about how difficult it is to find anything usable at other road courses when you're trying to prep for here? And I guess that played a large role in that.
Yeah, it really did. The 24 tested, Boris said, has been in the Finch car and has tested some. And I was just talking with Boris about the 2 tracks he went to. He left Road Atlanta, thought that they found some things that made sense, then went to Mid-Ohio, and none of it really applied to Mid-Ohio. So now they're coming here with 2 test sessions under their belts and not sure what's going to work. and more confused. So, and we've been through that song and dance year after year. And this time, with the success of last year's race and qualifying, we felt like we could come back and just work from that baseline of where we were last year. No doubt that I'm going to need a few laps to kind of get in the rhythm of road course racing again, but at least we're not chasing the setup. We'll just be getting me reps.
Can you raise your hand?
Kenny Bruce, Scene Daily. Jimmie, you've been around long enough to know that before the advent of the chase, and then obviously with the chase format, you've won the championship 5 times. Is there any advantages whatsoever today to being the points leader until you get to the start of the chase? I mean, we used to talk about who was leading the points all the time, and it seems like today that's almost overlooked.
Well, from my standpoint, I think that it's still the way you judge where teams are and who's going to be a contender in the chase. We haven't entered into the chase as the points leader often in these 5 championships we've won, but I still think that it's something that everybody in the garage area wants to do. They want to lead the points. There's also a level of experience you get by leading the points, confidence that it builds within the team. Your setups, what's going on pit road, the attitude of the driver. There are a lot of things to it that you maybe can't measure, but they are very important things to a race team. So I think it's important, but one other piece to it, I think coming into the chase with a good 4 or 5 race stretch is a similar confidence boost as leading the points would be. So I still think it's important. I guess I might be kind of babbling now, but I want to be leading the points. That is my goal, is to lead the points every single weekend that I can, and I wish that we were right now.
Would you raise your hand for the mic there?
Woody came with MRM. Jimmie, go back to Daytona after this. Do you feel like there's any reason to believe things will be different than what we saw in the 500? And do you guys feel you have a better handle now on that 2-car draft? And does that put it more back in your hands instead of the big packs we used to see?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have more options as competitors to make passes for the lead, to work your way through traffic, play some strategy and different things there. So I feel as a group we're all smarter, and there'll be a more competitive race with the push draft. But I don't see any reason why we'd be in a big pack. Until we have to lift and we can't run nose to tail, I don't see us getting away from what we're doing. Certainly, it's been a year now since it's been repaved. Maybe there's a little bit of loss in grip. If it was a day race, I think we might not be able to push each other around. But the fact that it's still a night race, I think when the race comes, we'll be pushing.
What else for Jimmie? David has a follow, and then we'll go to Bob and come up front here on my side. Go ahead, David.
Do you expect Sunday to be as sort of bare-knuckled as last year was here? I mean, is that just the way it is here now, or was that just sort of an animal unto itself last year?
I just heard Kurt mention a few things about starting up front and running up front, how it's a different race, and it's so true. When you're in the center of the pack, it's just an energy that exists. When somebody makes a questionable move on you, then your excitement level goes up, and now you make a move on a guy, and it just kind of breeds this style of racing, and we're going to see it. And anymore, the passing zones, drivers are so aggressive in defending the passing zones and the braking zones that you've got to find a different way by, or just bomb it in there, and 8 tires are better than 4 mentality, and hope that you make it. So I think there's a very good chance of a lot of action taking place.
Bob?
Jimmie, describe what makes Kyle such a great racer.
I think the fact that he can adapt and really drive any vehicle like we have seen is something that he has and is used to his advantage. And as the years go by, I think he's clearly been through some tough lessons here lately. But he's only getting smarter and stronger and tougher as the years go by. So he's got plenty of speed, and once he figures out the other part of it and can put together a whole year at the Cup level, he's going to be good. And I said this before, once he figured out how to win races, he was going to win a lot. And I still feel this way about once he figures out how to win a championship, he has the potential to win a lot.
Louis Frank Reuters, right up front. An oval question again. After the race at Michigan, Carl complained about too much downforce. I was wondering, on the cars, where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I know what he's saying. I understand that the aero push and maybe not just a push, but the lack of grip as you're further back in traffic, it's due to aerodynamics, and the lead car has a huge advantage when it's on track. I'm not saying we can't improve it some, but I still think the majority of our problem in not being able to pass on some tracks will still be there. The lead car, you cannot change the fact that they are in the most stable air possible. And every position back, it gets worse and worse. From my experience, what I've seen over the years, when we have a new rule book, new rules in general, there's a lot of disparity in speed, and so you have a fair amount of passing. We've been under the same rules for a long time. And when you look at the qualifying results and how tight the field is, you can't just go out there and pass people at will because everybody's running the same speed. So then you can say, well, it's aerodynamics, and yeah, that's a part of it. But in my opinion, I think it's that the field is so equal. You need to be a half a second faster to pass someone in any aero situation, any type of vehicle. You look at F1, open wheel in general, all those things. You can't pass. You've got to be considerably faster to pass. No one's considerably faster than another car right now. We're all running very, very similar pace. Yeah.
Lindy Best from skirtsandscuff.com. Some people would like to see a road race in the Chase. Is there a particular road course that you would like to see there, or is that something you're interested in doing?
I think it would be a great idea, and I think Montreal would be a great fit for our series. We have a huge fan base in Canada, and I think it would be an awesome place to go. I'm not sure what the chances are, but I would certainly lobby for it.
Mike?
Jimmie, with Jeff Gordon's record at this racetrack, road courses in general, combined with the way he's been running this year, how much of a threat do you see him as this weekend?
Yeah, I think anytime we come here, we got to think of the 24 car and him being a factor. And he and Alan are clicking well. They spent some time testing to make sure that they were kind of talking the same language when they got here for the road course race this weekend. So I think he's going to be a serious threat.
Jenna?
Jennifer, AP. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the news from Red Bull this week that they're pulling out and sort of the shakeup. I know it doesn't personally affect you, but a big sponsor goes away, potentially 2 well-funded seats. Maybe Brian's now got to look for something.
Yeah, I hate to hear that news. When I think about it from the sports vantage point and the big sponsor leaving, 2 seats going away, I really hate to hear that news. Granted, it's a competitive beverage sponsor to what we deal with at HMS, but still, the more corporate, really, I guess their international involvement, but the more Fortune 500 companies, more Fortune 50 companies we have involved in our sport, the better our sport's going to be. And competition is good on the racetrack, as we all know, and it's also good amongst the corporate environment that exists in the garage areas. So I hate to see it. And hopefully the team can find funding and still exist and operate at a high level like they have been.
Anything else for Jimmie? Debbie? Wrap it up for us.
Okay. Debbie Arrington, Sacramento Bee. Welcome back to Sonoma. We've had 6 different winners here in the last 6 years, including yourself. An awful lot of parity. What do you think is going to be the keys to winning this Sunday?
In my opinion, it really boils down to there's 2 types of races that take place here. One's a fuel mileage race, and we know what it takes to win there. And the other is qualifying well and having speed in the car. And today in qualifying, it's so important to start up front to stay out of the madness that takes place from 5th on back. And if you can stay, that's the type of race we had last year. We qualified second, got to the lead early, and went out there and just ran the pace we needed to, and were a factor. I don't think anybody wants to see it boil down to fuel mileage. It's so aggravating to worry about being the first guy on pit road and win that caution, or if a caution is going to come out after that. And a lot of guys are pitting so early that you need 2 or 3 cautions after you take fuel to make it to the end. So you're pitting a car knowing that you're going to run out if it stays green. And it's just a tough world to live in, especially when you're concerned about being in chase or where you are in points. So I really hope it boils down to a straight-up race, fuel mileage not an issue.
Thank you, Jimmie. Good luck.